Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Path and Post show. Title still in the works, but episode
That
3.
works.
And Brad, we're not alone. We're
I
not
know.
alone. Who do we have joining us to pretty up the screen a little bit?
I'm excited to have Kevin Hart joining us. Kevin's a rising star on our team and in the market. Was recently announced the Cherokee County Real Producers Top Performer. He was featured in an article there, so it's timely to have him on, kind of grill him about how that went down, and really just learn about his journey from a corporate career transitioning into real estate and what it's been like working on a team here at Path and Post. So I'm excited.
Beautiful.
Kevin, thank you for making the time.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it, man. But before we get into a little bit more of the Kevin specifics that everybody should be here to see, we got to cover the necessities. Brad, we got a market update. It is March of 2026. What are we looking at here in North Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to realize I'm about to say this, but things are getting better for sellers and worse for buyers.
That's wild.
Isn't that wild to say?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's slight, it's small, but in every metro that we track in North Atlanta, Woodstock, Canton, Marietta, Roswell, all of them are slightly ticking towards the seller's favor because inventory is being consumed and is not as many new listings coming to market. So when you have that combination of a constricting supply and demand staying steady, I wouldn't say it's increasing a ton, but demand is steady and supply is not meeting that demand, we're going to get a slight tick to seller's favor in every single market.
And this is why it's so important to vet where you're getting your information from, because a lot of the mainstream news outlets and a lot of the content published by even industry professionals who are kind of trying to pick up as much low-hanging fruit as possible and engineering content for views and things like that, what I'm seeing is completely the opposite from them with, Fed funds rate, no, interest rates are doing this, and but none of that matters when supply and demand doesn't support those narratives.
That's exactly right. Canton was the one market that we saw really inching towards the buyer's market through the winter, and it stopped inching towards buyers and started ticking back towards sellers last month.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what that means is, like, if you're a buyer, you still have some negotiating room. You still have some power in the marketplace if you've got a great agent on your side. If you're a seller, though, it's looking more and more like the time to consider hitting the market since you're seeing an uptick in your favor.
And in the realm of negotiating room, amazing segue incoming. You guys save your clients a lot of money in those strategic negotiations. I know you keep track of all the money that you guys save your buyer clients. What did it look like in February?
Over $36,000 saved in February. And I'm glad Kevin's here. He can probably speak to this. Like, that's just in lowering the out-of-pocket cash needed to close. That has nothing to do with the negotiation of the purchase price itself. Kevin, are you able to negotiate purchase prices in the current market for your buyers?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you find out the motivation on the selling side, when you're starting that negotiation, so you can understand, how to craft that offer to be in the best position for your buyer.
Yeah. So you can get price down, but I don't track that in the number I just shared, Mike. That is truly just concessions the seller is giving to help pay for the buyer's closing costs, down payment, and that sort of cash to close.
Kevin, if you were to kind of feel it out, since it's not tracked in solid data, dollars and cents, how much of a sales price discount can you typically expect depending on the transaction? Obviously, there's going to be a big range there, but what have you been seeing lately?
It depends on the opportunity. It truly does. Okay. It's always going to be, look at the opportunity, see how you can best negotiate that. It may be in the price, in a reduction. to try to get it more to a market value. It may be a situation that you're going to go in after concessions. It really depends on the opportunity. I'm never going to give you a number, okay? Because every single house, every single opportunity is different.
Has there been a recent transaction that you were able to capitalize on that opportunity and get the sales price down quite a bit?
Yeah, there's been a number of them. A lot of it is just looking at the opportunity. Again, understanding, I don't want to say desperation, but understanding the motivation associated with the actual seller. Because it may be a situation where that seller is wanting to get out of the house early, so they need to end up selling it now. It could be a new build. I've got one going on right now where we're working to try to negotiate even potential concessions at the end because they've had to extend. It's understanding both sides of the opportunity and working together to try to make that happen.
That's wonderful, but I'm going to push you on this. I need a number. How much have you been able to get the sales price down on a home sale in 2026? What's the maximum you've seen?
I've seen 20,000, but again, that's based on the price of the home, based on the area.
We get it. Everybody knows that there's different variables there. I just want people who are watching to understand what's actually possible,
Mhm.
depending on situation, transaction, different things like that. What are some of the upfront questions that you're asking to home sellers to try to better understand whether or not those opportunities exist?
It's a simple one. I ask them, what's the opportunity? Tell me the journey. Tell me the story of what's going on your side. Because I tell them right off the start, we all know it's more than the offer price. We need to come together and see where I can give, in some cases with my buyer, and be able to make that offer as attractive as possible. That's what the important thing is. It is not, and rarely do I see it totally on price. When you get on price side, it typically comes down to, is it an investment or they have to get something out of it because of a certain number that they're looking at.
I think it speaks to a larger ethos of things because typically you hear real estate transaction and people are in the mindset of us versus them. It's a very combative relationship. And what I just heard from you is saying like you're approaching this from a teamwork perspective.
Well, my background in the tech field and the executive side really made me understand that, hey, there are certain numbers that the other side have to make. There's certain numbers that I have to make. How can you make it work for everybody? Okay. Are we going hard at things? Absolutely. Okay. Some cases, the hardness can end up working against you, and you have to learn where that piece is.
So you're
Yeah.
obviously not a real estate lifer. Let's hear a
Now,
little bit more about that tech background and why you decided to jump into real estate.
yeah. So my background was primarily in the tech field, either in the legal community or the financial community. After many, many decades, unfortunately, you can see I'm a little bit older than probably both of you guys. You can see that that experience when you're negotiating with the big tech companies, whether it's on the data side, data centers, networking, things like that, really plays well from the negotiation side. But after that long of a career, 24/7, 365 international teams, I decided I wanted to do something that would really fit the passion that I have in life, which is trying to help others. It sounds corny, but it's actually the way I am. I would rather spend time face to face with somebody and help them through a transition to a new home or away from a home that they might be ready to move from. And it gives me the joy that I look for in life.
It's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
remember your application to join our team. It was probably the most unique application I've ever had. I've been in real estate 28 years now, and I got a letter in the mail, Mike. It was snail mail
Cool.
from a tech guy.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Kevin was when I got this letter in the mail, and my business partner Beck and I looked at each other and was like, "All right, this guy either has no clue how to use technology, or he really wants to make an impact and stand out." And well, you hear about his tech background, so you figure out which one it was.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So
I knew years ago, listening to Brad, and an opportunity that if I ever got into real estate, I'd want to join Path and Post. And everything since that day has always driven me that way. And it will
I mean, I know that Brad is a very handsome guy. So, but is there any other reason that you wanted to join Path and Post? Like, why did you zero in on Path and Post?
uh, two things. Okay. Number one is I appreciate tech. Okay. You can imagine that. I also know that we have the best tech out there. Okay. Period. By far. I have no doubt in my mind. Okay. The other thing is I think my personal beliefs and how I approach things align really well with Path and Post. We had the Plus, which is respect,
Mhm.
unity, the golden rule plus. That's how I've always tried to approach things. And I think that is the primary reason why I stay there, because there's nobody else out there that I'm aware of that has that type of approach and has the support and team and leadership that we have.
It's awesome.
I'm not getting paid for this, by the way.
I'll give you the $5 later.
Okay.
Solid. Solid. Brad, right? You mentioned a Rising Star Award. What was the details of that?
So I was approached by the guy who runs the Cherokee County Real Producers. It's a local kind of elite networking club magazine feature thing. It's not one of those pay-to-play realtor magazines where the real estate agent pays the photographer to put themselves on the cover of a magazine. That happens too much in our industry. This is
I
like
think there's only like 2 magazines in the country that are not pay to play anymore.
so you found one.
It's great.
It's one of those. He called me asking. He's like, you guys look amazing online. Your 5-star reviews and the amount of success. Like, who are some of your top performers? And I said you should talk to Kevin. He ended up interviewing Kevin and went so well. It was the first feature in his magazine.
Oh, congrats, Kevin. What did that mean to you? How was the experience?
I'm very honored to have that opportunity. Okay. But I'm also humble enough to know that I'm just the first one from our group. I'm just being very honest. I'm a placeholder as far as I'm concerned. And it's not about me. It isn't. Brad knows what I'm saying. It's true. It's not about me. It's one of those things that you could have taken anybody from our team and put them in that place and had the same type of results. So again, I'm honored, but thank you for doing that. But it's not about me. It's about the team, about the clients that we serve. So
That's right.
That's beautiful. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. When it comes to these transactions, obviously every real estate transaction is different. But there are some things that they all have in common. When it comes to those commonalities and those typical transactions, like Brad wouldn't have picked you for this. The magazine wouldn't have signed off and been like, yeah, we need to feature this guy unless you were doing some pretty special stuff. What are you doing behind the scenes that buyers and sellers might not even ever see in every real estate transaction that they should probably know about?
yeah, well, a lot of what we do is behind the scenes. Brad's probably going to cringe when I say this, but when I first considering the move into real estate, I really fought against it because of the fact that I thought that those who couldn't do anything else in life became realtors. Okay. I will tell you right now, that is the absolute furthest thing from the truth, because I know how much effort, dedication that has to be done. You know, people think, oh, make your own hours. No, it's not making your own hours. You're working your tail end off for your clients whenever they're available. And even when they're not available, you're still working in the background, whether that's digging deep, one of our favorite phrases, to kind of figure out what's the opportunity, the motivation we talked about earlier, whether it's a situation where I have to look at records, I have to look at data that's available outside of normal means, whether I'm going to be driving by that opportunity, other opportunities that might be in that area, doing an agent preview, all these different things that nobody ever sees. And then on top of that, you're a lot of times trying to corral in craziness, whether that's on the seller side, the agent side, inspections that might have gone a path that you weren't looking at, or trying to get resources into it. There's so many different things that I don't think people realize are happening in the back. It just magically happens for them.
I love that. Oh, Brad, you opened your mouth a little bit. I thought you were going to say something. You're so quiet. So quiet.
I agree. You're right. It's the things that he mentioned, like the inspection phase. Like, it made me think of our vendor guide. So we have local, vetted, trusted professionals of every skill and trade you can imagine, from not just the inspection, but like the actual roofer who could repair it, or the HVAC, the plumber, all the trades needed. So sometimes it's not just get the inspection done and then negotiate it. Sometimes get the inspection done, identify all the problems, and then schedule 6 different trades to come in there and get actual estimates so you can quantify the risk for the client. That's the kind of stuff that Kevin's really great at, is that behind the scenes stuff that nobody sees. It's hard to put that in. You don't even see it in a contract, right?
Right. Kevin, you mentioned tech, your tech background. You know, Path and Post has the best tech. Saying we got the best tech, I mean, anybody can say that. What's your favorite tech tool that you use at Path and Post?
Yeah, well, we use Follow Up Boss, which is our predominant one. It's our CRM. The thing that I like about it is it ties into so many other tools that really make us effective. In the tech world, there's a phrase called a single pane of glass. Okay, which means you have one piece out there that gives you all the information that you're looking for and an access point to do it. We primarily have a single pane of glass. I don't know of other teams that have the level of integration that we have that allows me to be effective, allows me to stay on point, keep focused, keep track of my communications. What do I want to do next? What are the opportunities that's out there? What's coming in new? What are my clients looking at? All those different pieces allow me to be effective. And I knew coming in, having seen what Brad has done in the past, that was where I would be most effective. And I think the Rising Star proved it for me, and it proves it for everybody on my team.
That's incredible. Brad, is there a piece of tech that you think Kevin just touched on that you are most proud of?
I think it's the integration of all the tech. Like, real estate is notorious for having a special tool for one special part of the industry. And, you had one tool to open the lockbox, another tool to schedule to get to the lockbox, another tool to research the listing, another tool to log your communicate. Like, it's tool. The integration is the secret.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
integration is the secret. And I do think Follow Up Boss has allowed us to integrate better than we ever have.
The real estate and mortgage industries are so good at creating tech stacks that do not speak to each other. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Next thing I want to ask, simple question, maybe a little foreboding. What happens on Wednesdays?
Oh, rise and grind. Okay.
Oh, it's not Fight Club. We can talk about it. Tell me about what happens on Wednesdays.
Yeah, right. I knew that whenever I'd made the switch, the transition over into the new career, that I was going to need a lot of support, guys. Okay. You don't know what you don't know. Okay. The things that we have on the team, whether it's Rise and Grind, which is an hour-long meeting where we all get on a call where we're able to help each other learn new things. There may be something legally that we need to be aware of. We talked about FinCEN earlier today. There's
Exciting.
Yeah, there are all sorts of things that I have known well before I even needed to know, I guess is what I'm saying. And that's the type of preparation that we get on a weekly basis, not forgetting things like our tech sessions, which are on Tuesdays, where we have the opportunity to come into the office, learn, really absorb things. And if you're the type that's going to end up, wanting to have that constant feed of information to get better and better, we all learn together is what the phrase that we hear all the time. It's the type of environment where you want to do your best. I'm extremely competitive. Brad knows that very, very well. Okay. that pushes me. Even the tech helps me from that standpoint because of the fact that it pushes me. Oh, I forgot to do this today. Well, I'm competitive. I don't want anything on that list for today. So I need to go ahead and do it now. Or is it something that hey, I can move it one day because it's not impactful for anything of importance? But either way, it's always in front of you. And the leadership helps you with those things, learning them to get better and better.
Somebody asked me after today was Wednesday when we were recording it, was Rise and Grind this morning, in a meeting following. Somebody asked me, like, what's your culture like? And like how to describe it to somebody else. I was like, scrappy, like,
Yeah.
like collaborative, like always trying to get better together, almost like a startup. Well, those were like the terms that came to mind that describe it. And I think what Kevin just described is that type of culture. It's like we're building something that's amazing together.
I love
Whole
that you guys
career-
are aligned on that, because culture is, and I see it in what I do all day, every day. I talk to a bunch of companies, and culture is a hot button topic. Everybody talks about the culture, but very few companies understand that you're able to dictate it, or that you're not able to dictate it. Like you're not able to dictate your culture. I saw one quote a while ago that just stayed with me by Gary Vaynerchuk. If you follow him, awesome creator, marketing guy. He said that culture is how each individual employee feels on Sunday night when they think about going to work on Monday morning. And I was like, oh man, like that hit me deep. Because the time I heard that, I was in a corporate environment. And it was proven to me every day, because there were people who had bad things to say, and there were people who were kind of getting through the day, and there were people who felt supported, and there were people that didn't. And all of this was very departmental. Like it was not even dictated at the company level.
Yeah.
It was who you were directly reporting to, the tasks that you were asked to do, the support that you were or weren't given, the tolerance levels for different people. Like it was very different. And hearing both of you as a, Brad, you're broker owner, and Kevin, you're realtor, real estate agent, rising star himself, like to hear you guys be aligned on that just kind of solidifies what you're building. And that's gotta be good. I think the biggest compliment to a company's culture can be when leadership and like street level, either ops people or salespeople are aligned on what it actually is. Regardless of what it is, like if you're aligned, there's a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, we didn't practice this at all. As you know, I had no idea
Right.
Kevin was going to mention our values, but when we're a values-based company and our team knows that, and that drives our decisions, and that creates alignment better than anything I've ever seen.
That's right. All right. It's too mushy. It's getting boring. Let's talk cars. Kevin, your motorhead. I see a message about Datsuns and Volkswagens. What do you got in the garage? What are you working on? What's going on here?
Yeah, so I used to be the vice president of the Georgia Z Club. Have a lot of connections into that. I've got two Datsun Nissan cars. One is a 1982 280ZX, which that's when I graduated from high school. So it's got a little special place by heart.
I'm not going to tell you what happened for me in 1982.
I'm not going to. And then the other one is my pride and joy, which is a 1971 Datsun 240Z Series 1, which we did a complete restoration on it. Is it a rotisserie grant or it is not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. And then the
That's awesome.
67 Beetle is the one that you were mentioning about on the VW side. My father-in-law bought that years ago, never turned a single wrench on it. But when he came to Georgia, we got that one. And it's a pretty nice car too. So
That's cool. I
I
love
don't
it.
know anything about cars. I'm not a car guy. So I have nothing to add to this other than I can tell you how serious of a car guy he is. Like he checks the weather before he decides to take one out.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Hey man. And anybody who cares for their cars more than I care about my pants and shoes Because I get caught out in the wrong weather with the clothes that I'm wearing, let alone
Yes,
I
right.
don't have anything that I hold that precious. That's but I get it. I get it. Kevin, what I guess I'm gonna toss a little wild card question in here. Why wouldn't you drive a car in why wouldn't you drive a specific car in a specific weather? And don't tell me like, oh, because it's a convertible and it's gonna be raining. Like, no, like what are some weather conditions that you try to avoid in certain vehicles and why?
Yeah. Have you ever tried to clean the inside of an engine compartment when it's been in the rain?
Well, obviously not. No, which is why I would be asking this
No.
question.
No. You
Right.
have cars that are, pretty special. You try to keep them as clean as possible. It's very difficult to get to certain areas whenever they've been splashed up in rain and so on.
Gotcha.
And you also have to be careful who you follow because they can be, kicking up dirt, debris, so on. So, but
There you go.
yeah,
A guy who cares about how clean his engine compartments are. Imagine what he's doing on the back end of a real estate transaction for his clients.
Is the back end of a transaction the engine compartment of a real estate deal?
it can be. That's a good question.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of, is that the thing that makes it go?
You've got to look at every single piece. I used to have a phrase when I was in the IT world, which was play so clean that you take the ref out of the game.
I
Okay.
like that.
That means that you do everything to where a referee, somebody that could impact the game, doesn't have the opportunity to. And it's the same thing with the weather. It could impact my game of keeping my car clean, or if I were to enter in a car show or something like that. So you think through those things. What are the things that's going to end up impacting you along that journey? Ooh, that's a car thing, journey. Yeah,
I like that. No, that was good. That you can take that lesson into any facet of life.
you can.
I know a good friend of mine. We do speaking engagements together every now and again. But he has a solid policy that when he is out of town for work or for any other reason, whether it's an Uber driver, a friend who offers a ride to an airport, whatever it is, he has a standard personal policy that he will not ride in a vehicle alone with a female. And it's just like, out of respect for my wife, I just never want her to be able to ask that question.
Yeah.
And like, if you take that mindset to everything, play so clean that the referee doesn't have a chance to get involved, then yeah, man, everything else is taken care of.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it puts you in control of the whole thing.
Right.
And it's just, where it came from in my life was I used to play a lot of sports, played volleyball. We were in a championship game and we were losing, not because we were the worst team, but the ref was making bad calls throughout the whole game. Pulled everybody together and said, guys, we have to find a way to take the ref out of the game. If it's close, you make it play. You don't let him make a bad call. And we won. We came back, but that's kind of where that came from. And that's, what we do in real estate. We don't give somebody else the opportunity to take control of what we're doing. We protect our clients. We protect our buyers, our sellers, so that nobody else can make a bad call or go after it in a way that's detrimental to your client.
Kevin, I want to give you the floor to tie this up with a little bow and say, if you could bestow one piece of information or a piece of knowledge onto anybody who could be listening to this, what do you want them to know?
So this is going to sound stupid. I truly bleed path and post blue. Brad knows this, okay? It's one of those things I get asked by people, why should they go with us? Okay, I get asked by other agents why they should go with us. And the reality is that I do not know somebody out there that is going to take as good care of you as what our whole team is going to do. We really focus on the things that matter most. There's a lot of things in life outside of real estate, and I can't impact you or help you on those things. But if there's one thing that I want to give you to the people that's going to be able to help. I grew up in Missouri. Okay. It's the show me state. In Missouri, we will tell you to save you the pain if it's a bad situation or we had a bad experience. Okay. If we've had a good one, we want you to have that experience. We want to give you that opportunity to have the joy, the excitement, something that you want to share with other people. And this is me sharing with everybody else, hey, if you want that experience, I mean it. You don't have to come to me, guys. Come to somebody on our team. I just know that heart. And if that's the type of experience you want, come see us. That's it.
Brad, take us home.
No, thanks for joining us, Kevin. Congrats on your transition from corporate IT world, technical, legal, financial stuff to real estate. It's been amazing getting to know you, working with you. Congrats on your rising star recognition, well earned. And I look forward to many more successful moments with you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Kevin. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.